Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a candle empties video for you guys, and bear with me, I have not done one of these videos yet. It feels a little chaotic having all these different candles and brands to talk about. So fair warning, this will probably be a little bit longer, chatty style video, but for those who kind of just want to get to the point, I did finally figure out how to put timestamps in my videos, which I think I actually just unlocked as a new creator. So thank you for bearing with me, but I will put timestamps in this video. I think I'm going to separate things by brand just to make it a little bit easier. And then, you can find whatever it is that you're looking for, or whatever brands interest you. And, we'll do it that way. So I've got quite a few candles here. I have a very bad habit of letting things pile up for longer than I should, but I'm in kind of full spring cleaning mode. And I said, you know what, these have to get out of here. So I have got candles from the end of the holidays up through March. So this past weekend is the last candle I finished here. So I've got kind of a mixed bag of holiday, fall, and some anytime stuff. Really what I do from the end of the Christmas season up until now is sort of work on using up some of the candles that I have lying around that are like almost done, but still have some hours left in them. So things I don't want to carry over till next Christmas, I'll try to use up. Fall candles that are left over from fall burning, and then any of my anytime scents that really just need to kind of move on, I need to be done with. I focus on burning these rather than jumping right into spring. Where I live, we really don't get consistent spring weather until well into April. So for us, it's kind of like this weird time where the retail world has moved on to spring, but I'm not there yet. So that's why I kind of focus on these like oddball candles I want to get done with on this in-between time. And then going forward will probably be a little bit more seasonal. Mostly a seasonal burner, but I do have like some mood things I'll burn once in a while. Like the other day I was just in for gingerbread tiramisu, like just in the mood for that one out of nowhere. So, I'll have those moments, but for the most part from here will probably be spring and then like seasonally consistent fragrances. So yeah, I think we'll just kind of jump right in. I will start with let's see. All right, Homeworx. So this is chocolate chip cookies. So I just finished this one up this weekend. I kind of had a love-hate relationship with this candle where I love the fragrance. I think it's a really nice chocolate chip fragrance. It was highly recommended to me by some friends, and I could get why they like it. It smells really nice, but the performance for me just wasn't there. And it had a couple bright spots towards the middle, but like the first couple burns were just kind of light, not really giving me all that much. And then, I hit a sweet spot where I thought, really, it's going to pick up. This is going to be great. And then it just sort of fizzled out again towards the end, and it burned really well. There was no issues, pretty clean. It pooled fine. There was no issues with pooling or dudding out wicks or any of that. The scent, I say, pretty consistent and authentic to a chocolate chip cookie, which it's not heavy on the chocolate, which I like. I like getting a little bit more of the cookie with the chocolate kind of in the background a little bit. And it wasn't like super duper sweet, not super duper buttery. It was just kind of a nice sort of warm, chewy cookie, like those soft baked cookies. And, with your little bit of chocolate chip in there, just a really nice cookie fragrance, but it just wasn't having enough strength to have enough of an impact on me. I felt like I would say the strongest this was at the best points was probably about a 6. And, at worst it was probably around a 4, but just not having the impact I was hoping for. So would I buy it again? Maybe if it was on sale. I don't know if this will ever come back. Like I say, it's hard because I loved the scent. I just didn't get great performance, but I know others said they did. So maybe I just got, a bad one, but for me, it's kind of like take it or leave it. But, overall, glad I tried chocolate chip cookies, and that's from Homeworx. All right, so next up, I've got holiday cookies from Sonoma. Sonoma is sold by Kohl's, so if you're not familiar, these come from Kohl's department stores. They will run you, the label on here, this is a couple years old, says $19.99. Nobody pays $19.99. They're pretty much always on some sort of sale. You can get them for probably around $7-8, maybe less if you have Kohl's cash. But, you know, they're kind of just like your basic sort of bargainy brand sort of candle. They've had some really good ones over the years. I don't know if you guys remember when they had their like their moment when they came out with key lime pie and everybody was talking about key lime pie. I started paying attention back then. I started buying some, and I definitely had a few gems from them, candles I've enjoyed. But lately I haven't really paid attention, so I don't know what they've really been doing lately. I think this was the last time I bought them, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago. So I used to buy holiday cookies every year. I really liked it as a like just sort of your basic vanilla sugar cookie scent. But it used to be a really good performer for me. This one was much lighter, so I ended up candle crocking most of it, and it did have a nice sort of background scent. Went well with my like Christmas tree stuff and things like that. But maybe it's just because it's old, or maybe they changed something. I don't know. But, you know, probably not going to be buying a whole lot of Sonoma candles unless I'm in the store one day and something catches my eye. You know, for a few bucks, why not? If it's a dud, it's a dud. I don't get as mad at like a $7 candle not performing very well as I do a $30 candle not performing well. So, you know, worth a shot. And if you're in Kohl's looking how to spend your Kohl's cash, take a peek at Sonoma. But yeah, that's about it for that. Time to move on. All right, so next I've got apple turnover from Milkhouse Candles, and I feel like every time I would post about Milkhouse Candles over on Instagram, I would get very mixed comments. Either you guys love them or you said you've never had luck from them. Personally, I happen to love them. I've had some really good candles from Milkhouse. I've only tried a handful because I will only buy them pretty much in home goods stores. There's a big price difference. If you go to buy this on their website, it'll run you about $30. Home goods, I spent $12.99. So for $12.99, I will take a shot. And then you get to smell it in person as well, which is always a nice thing. So for me, I think I bought my first one at a Home Goods on clearance for like $5. And, you know, I fell in love. It actually ended up being one of my favorite candles of all time. So I just started picking them up randomly when one would catch my eye. And I was looking for this one for a while. I had seen people posting it. It's actually the same as their apple strudel scent on their website. So if you were to look on Milkhouse Candle's website, you can find basically their whole like catalog of fragrances. But be aware, like if you go looking for them in Home Goods, I think they changed the names a little bit. So like instead of apple strudel, this is apple turnover. I have a pineapple one that in Home Goods is pineapple paradise, I believe. But on their website, the notes match up to their pineapple gelato fragrance. So, you know, just be aware that they do that. But let me know, have you guys had good luck with these? Because I really like them. They're clean. Like, look how clean this jar is. Like, it's just super clean burning. Barely anything sooty on there at all. They're a soy and beeswax blend. No paraffin. And the wicks, like this burned all the way down, no problems. It's a nice thick glass, so it holds the heat, and I've never had any problems with pooling whatsoever with these. I will say they do also sell a single wick version, and the single wicks, those I've had trouble with. I bought the same scent in a single wick as a 2-wick one time just to kind of experiment, like if they would be comparable scent wise, because you do get a little bit more price per ounce in the big single wick jar, but this one, like the 2-wick, blew it out of the water. So going forward, I will only do the 2 wicks from Milkhouse. You know, it makes sense with the soy wax. You really need a little bit extra heat. So, you know, I can't complain. For $12.99, I would say this probably threw at maybe a 5 or 6. And, you know, not spectacular, but very noticeable. And it was a really nice scent. It's a very sort of nice, realistic baked apple with a little bit of spice. It's not super spice forward or spice heavy like some apple pie scents can be. This is really more focused on the filling, with the bakery piece being a little bit more to the background. But a really nice, just sort of cozy, homey sort of scent. And I burned this a ton when my whole family was knocked down with the flu for like a month straight. And I wanted something comforting that wasn't going to be like over the top heavy or headache inducing or nauseating or anything like that. You know, this was just really just sort of a comforting sort of scent. So, you know, I got a lot of miles out of this. I finished it in the crock and it lasted another like day and a half, I think, scent wise. So for me, I might buy this one again. There's some other ones that I'm kind of on the hunt for that I think next fall I would like to purchase first to try. There's like a pumpkin pancakes, I think, that I was deciding between that one and this one. I picked this one, but next time if I can find pumpkin pancakes, I'll probably pick that one up instead. But yeah, I will keep buying Milkhouse when I can find them. You know, if the scent catches my eye, worth a shot for $12.99. And really, like, that's the only candle like left to hunt for me in HomeGoods. Without Homeworx, I don't know if you guys heard like the phasing out of Homeworx from HomeGoods stores. You know, that was really like the main draw going into HomeGoods, was to look for Homeworx and then whatever else I could find. And usually I would stumble into Milkhouse at that point. Now I guess I'm just going to have to go for Milkhouse candles. I don't know, guys. Running out of good candles at HomeGoods. All right, so this next brand, Caramel Sundays. Caramel Sundays, what do you guys say? Is it caramel? Is it caramel? I feel like they are kind of taking the internet, Instagram, YouTube, all of that by storm right now. They're really like picking up popularity. Everywhere I turn, like, feel like there's a post about them lately. And I followed them for years on Instagram. I finally made my first purchase back in August when they were doing their fall scents. And they came really recommended to me by a few friends. And, you know, honestly, my first several experiences were very good. And I want to be very careful how I say this, because they are a small business and I never want to, you know, say anything that will like negatively impact a small business, because I really do like their candles. I've had very good luck with their candles. I like their look. I like that they are very clean ingredients. I like that they're really trying to give you great scents without using a ton of chemicals and things like that, and a nice clean burn. So, you know, I have no issues whatsoever with their candles, but I've had to kind of take a little step back as a customer, mainly because I feel like it kind of brings out sort of bad spending habits or bad tendencies to spend within myself. So this is a me thing. It's me, it's not them. But their restocks, if you're not familiar, they restock, I think, every so many weeks. And they're kind of like fast fingers restocks, where you have to be quick, you have to be on, you actually have to sign up for a text alert and get like 2 minutes early access and get in the website exactly on time, check out immediately, you know, check out in different orders so that you can get all the things you want before it sells out, because it really does go that fast. You know, that's fine. The problem I'm finding is that for me, it tends to kind of bring out the sort of like impulse buy, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know, when you see these lists and think, oh, that candle sounds really, really good. And then you start to panic like, all right, well, I wasn't going to spend any money right now, but if I don't buy that candle right now, it's going to be gone. And who knows if they're going to restock it. And it could be a year before it comes back. So, you know, let me make an exception and just buy this one. And you know, it's great for them as a company, and kudos to them for being able to sell out like that. I'm not knocking them. They pour as many as they can to try to keep up with demand as best they can, but they're a small team, and, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. So, you know, I'm not knocking them at all. You know, good for them that their business is doing so well. But for me as a customer, and just the place I'm at in my life, where I've fallen into this sort of path before, where, you know, I just kind of start justifying purchases that I know I shouldn't be making. I know I shouldn't be spending the money. I know I'm going over my budget, but, you know, you kind of just fall into this trap of, but if I don't buy it, it's going to be gone. And, you know, that's something where I'm just noticing that pattern in myself and saying, all right, I cannot fall into this trap where I start buying every single restock, because I'm just going to be going way over my budget. This size candle, these run for $31.99, and that does include their shipping cost in there. Essentially, it's free shipping on every order. And, you know, I'm not saying it's not worth $31.99, because the quality of the product, the quality of the ingredients, the fact that it's a small business and that you're getting the item shipped, I mean, that's a very fair price. I'm not saying it's not. But for my budget, you know, at that price point, You know, I'm somebody who likes to stretch my dollar a little bit and, you know, try a couple different things. For 30 bucks, I hope to try maybe like 2 fragrances versus 1. So, you know, this is more of like my splurge brand, where if there's something that comes along that I really feel like is unique, something that I really, really want to try, you know, I'm not opposed to buying again. I'm not saying I will never buy again. It's just something I can't get caught up in every restock, you know, ordering every single time, and, you know, recognizing that pattern within myself. I don't know if there's any fellow recovering Ray Dunn addicts out there, if you know what I mean, with that pottery craze. It was kind of the same thing for me, where you get caught up and you start buying things you wouldn't normally buy, because if you don't buy it, it's going to be gone. And, you know, it's a very slippery slope. So I noticed I was starting to get kind of caught up in it. And I said, hold on, pump the brakes. I need to take a little step back. So again, not bashing them in any way. I think their products are great. But for me, you might not see a whole lot of their stuff on my channel or on my Instagram, and that is the reason. But I do want to share the things I have bought, because they are really good. This is the first one that I purchased from them. This is Coffin Cake. It's kind of hard to see because it's such a clear glass, but I mean, very clean. This burned really well. Their wicks are really pretty thick. So for these, you really need a hot burn for caramel sundaes. You need to like give it a good several hours to really get a good pool going, to really generate some heat. I find they do really well if you use a little bit of a hurricane to trap a little bit more heat, because this is like a very like creamy soy wax, and it likes a good amount of heat to perform. You know, so there is a little bit of a learning curve there if you're used to like more of the Bath and Body Works style candles. But this is like a really nice fall scent. This is very much your sort of spice cake. It's got a lot of spice in here, and it's got a lot of buttercream. It's very super, super buttercreamy. I felt like even though there was so much spice, it still had a really good amount of like a buttercream frosting in there. It's just a really nice scent. Performed really well, I would say, probably a medium to strong intensity at times. And like, this is something, because I've tried this scent before and I had good luck with it, when it comes around again, I might repurchase this one without any hesitation whatsoever. It's just a really good scent. And I've got 2 more here from them. This one, Pistachio Cranberry. Their pistachio oil is probably the best I have found, you know, in really any of the small batch brands or retail world combined. Their pistachio is phenomenal. So if you're a pistachio fan, they had a couple pistachio scents recently, and I was a really good girl. I did not buy them, but I was really, really tempted. They had another scent that I haven't finished yet, but pistachio pumpkin. That one is like my favorite so far that I've tried from them. When that comes around again, if it does, I will definitely be buying it. But I really like their pistachio. The way they do it is just a nice, creamy, nutty pistachio. It doesn't have like that cherry tone to it. This one with the cranberry, it's like really nice. You've got a mixture of that sweet and tart sort ofness with the cranberry, with the really creamy, nutty pistachio. And this was sort of a late bloomer. The first several burns, it really took a little while to get going, and I was kind of disappointed at first. But once it picked up, it was amazing. And I really loved this one at Thanksgiving time. That's when I burned the bulk of this candle. And, you know, it really did well in a hurricane. So that made a big difference with this one. So this is one I would probably repurchase. I don't know how popular it was, so they might not bring this one around again. But if it did come around, I might. And I mean, again, look how clean. Like, just really nice. No problems with the burn whatsoever. Just really nice. And then the last one I have from them is Home for Christmas, which I really liked this one too. This is another one that I reached for a lot at Christmas time. And this one was slightly dirtier in the burn, just very slightly, a little bit more soot. I also feel like I burned this one for a little bit longer time period, so that could be just my user error. But the scent itself is like, it's kind of along the lines of Bath and Body Works Winter, but a little bit less citrusy, a little bit, this one's a little bit sweeter, a little less sharp on that citrus note. And also like Kringle Candle's Cozy Christmas, very similar to that, where you've got a little bit of that like, almost like an orangey citrus in there with spice, and then a little bit of a tree and a little bit of that sort of like, kind of like that smoky winter air. Just a really nice winter scent, very nice, like very Christmassy, cozy sort of thing. But, you know, it doesn't feel inappropriate after Christmas either. It's just a really nice sort of cozy, outdoorsy and a little bit sweet kind of mixture. Just a really nice one. I really enjoyed this one. It reminds me a lot of another small business scent. For those who follow like the vendor wax world, there was a company actually just closed. It was called Zape. It's spelled Zeep, Z-E-E-P, but I think it's actually pronounced Zape. That company, they just closed their doors, but they had a fragrance called Bad Santa. It smells just like Bad Santa, for those familiar with that. So if you're a fan of their wax and you're kind of going to be missing Bad Santa next year, and if Home for Christmas comes around again, I think you'll love this one. It smells really, really close to my nose. And now that I'm thinking about it, Coffin Cake, that one smells really similar to a scent that they had in the fall called Salem, which is also a very sort of spiced buttercreamy spice cake type scent. So if you're missing that, you know, definitely take a look at Caramel Sundays. They have a really great list coming up for their next restock. It's going to be hard to not buy any. There's like 3 or 4 that I have my eye on. I'm going to try to resist. I don't know. Maybe I'll cave. Maybe I won't. But like performance from this one was pretty solid too. I would say 6, 7. I mean, I would say medium to strong strength for most of the ones I've tried so far, with, again, giving them a little bit of time to get going and then using a hurricane if you feel like you need a little bit more heat, a little bit more power from it. But yeah, that's Caramel Sundays. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about them, so let me know if you were on the Caramel Sundays train. Let me know how it's going for you, and you know, can you relate to my to my feelings about the panic buy? I don't know. Weigh in, because again, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them in any way. Like, I really even hesitate to share this. So, you know, I love you guys, Caramel Sundays, if you happen to watch this, but yeah, just trying to kind of correct my own habits. All right, last but not least, and boy, I'm probably not making myself any friends here today. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bath & Body Works candles here. And you will notice I probably will not be sharing all that many Bath & Body Works candles on my channel either. I just don't buy a whole lot of Bath & Body Works candles. And the main reason is I have had just terrible luck with the burn on these. I mean, more often than not, I end up putting most of these in my crock. They just don't give me great burns. And I feel like if I buy like 10 candles, maybe 2 or 3 will perform well. And the others will have puny wicks. They'll get burnt. The wax will get all just murky and dirty. And I understand why they're popular, because I was really big into Bath & Body Works for a while. Back in 2010, I actually worked there. And that's when I started buying a lot of their candles, back when Harry Slatkin was involved. And you know, I was all aboard. I was buying them left and right by the crateful on Candle Day. I was right there. And just lately, I don't know, it's just something changed along the way where I feel like more often than not, I'm just getting bad burns on these, dirty burns. I notice I get kind of like a headachy or scratchy throat sometimes when I burn a lot of them, when they are having that sort of icky burn. And I just, you know, for the price, like, am I really getting a great deal if they burn like that? And I feel like I'm wasting half my candle. You know, I don't know. I know they're affordable. I know they're easily accessible. You can pick them up in the store. You can smell them before you buy them. You can return something you don't like if you order it online. You know, I get the appeal. They have really cute packaging. Sometimes they, like, the packaging just, you know, there's really no comparison. Like, they just do so many different things. I know Goose Creek does very similar sort of packaging, but like, you know, it's just, I can only pay for packaging so many times. You know, there's certain scents that I will always keep rebuying because I love the scent and it's nostalgic and it's just, you know, a traditional scent for me, you know, things like winter and all that. But, you know, as far as my big hauls from Bath & Body Works or buying every, you know, every release or whatever, every sale, I just can't do it anymore. And, you know, I just feel like as cheap as I can get them sometimes, it's just not even worth that. So for me, you'll probably see very few Bath & Body Works on my channel, be kind of few and far between. If I get a good one here and there, I will, you know, certainly try to review them or share them here with you guys. But For the most part, you might see them in my empties, especially if they're not behaving. I do have one here that was really good for me. This was from the most recent candle day. I picked it up. Evergreen and Fir. This is probably my highlight of the 5. This, I heard it's evergreen. So again, I haven't been buying a whole lot of Bath and Body Works. I never had evergreen before. So they say this is a repackage. Maybe it is. I had the rare opportunity to actually go and shop in the store on Candle Day, which I didn't expect. This wasn't on my radar at all, but I picked it up and I just found like I couldn't put it down. There was something about the tree note in it that I just loved. This is like very nostalgic to the fresh trees that I used to get as a kid. Now, I haven't had a real tree, a real Christmas tree in years, but, you know, I kind of remember a little bit of that sort of like sappy tree smell, and there's just something in here that is triggering that scent memory for me. So I couldn't put it down. I kind of wish I had gotten more. This one did burn very well. I burned this pretty much all the way till the end, put the rest in my Candle Crock, and it wasn't super duper strong. I would say probably like a 6-ish, but I don't really like my tree scents to be like super powerful either. I feel like they tend to get a little nauseating the stronger they are. I kind of like more of a background tree scent, because when I'm burning them at Christmas time, I usually like to pair it with like a cookie scent or, you know, a spice scent or something else going on in my room, in my open concept space. So for me, this is just right. I wish I had grabbed, you know, 1 or 2 more, because it actually did burn really well. But for me, like Evergreen and Fir, this was a really good one from Candle Day. This is probably my favorite of the ones I bought on Candle Day. So I guess, you know, that's what keeps me coming back, is the occasional one like that, where I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. And then I fall back in the path, and then I end up with other ones like, you know, this is from another Candle Day, the spiced cinnamon, spiced vanilla, and hot cocoa. Great scent, started out really great, but you know, this is a good amount of wax left where it just wasn't burning very well. You can see the wicks. There's no carbon balls whatsoever. They were just kind of smoldering in here. This one didn't get super dirty, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't performing the right way either. I got a little bit more life out of it in the Candle Crock like this, but like a really nice scent. I liked when they did this sort of like mashup. I feel like they've done a couple more recently that I haven't really paid much attention to, but this was a nice matchup. I really like it, kind of like that sort of Mexican hot cocoa sort of flair with that little bit of spice in there. I love hot cocoa and cream as well. That's another one that I do keep going back for every once in a while, just because it's a scent I've always enjoyed. But hot cocoa and cream with the cinnamon spice vanilla. You know, if they did it again, I might repurchase it just to see, but yeah, it's a good scent. Another one kind of similarly, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." This one, what was it? Santa's Fresh Baked Cookies, a warm mug of milk with dashes of cinnamon and nutmeg. This one, again, started out really good and ended up in my crock with a good amount of wax left. It started getting sort of that burnt smell. Because it's like a spice cookie, I feel like the spice was just sort of turning, getting that sort of burnt, singed sort of smell to it. And it just wasn't burning well. Really, I bought this one for the label because I thought it was really cute and it illuminated really, really pretty. But, you know, the actual performance, again, just, you know, this ended up going in my Candle Crock. And it just gets kind of frustrating, I guess, because even though I spent maybe, what, $8 or something and change on this candle, like, I could spend a few bucks more for like a Kringle 3-wick or a Milkhouse Candle or something from HomeGoods and, you know, get a little bit better performance. So, you know, that's just me. Again, just kind of a spiced cookie scent. But it's sometimes hard to even review these or judge the scent because I feel like they just turn so quickly. Like you go from this really nice cookie scent to something smelling like it's been burning in your oven for a little while. And, you know, it makes it hard to review. So that's another one here. And what else do I have left? Tree Farm. I bought this one for the green glass. I really like the green glass here. This one I will probably repurchase. But again, I was having trouble with the burn. This one went into the crock with probably over an inch of wax left here. Personally, I know a lot of people like this one. I'm not a big fan of Tree Farm. And you know, based on the notes, we got crisp pine needle, warm cedar, spiced apple. You know, it sounds like something I would love, But for me, maybe it's just my nose, because this one comes across a little cleaner-ish, like a little pine sol-y to me. And it's just not my favorite. I think I have one more of these downstairs in a different packaging. But, you know, just something that I kind of was just burning it to burn it and not really getting a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. So I ended up just throwing it in the crock. You know, I probably won't purchase Tree Farm in the future, which kind of stinks because I feel like I've really liked some of the packaging on Tree Farm over the years. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm kind of getting past that. But yeah, at least I will have this nice little green jar to kind of repurpose. And you'll probably see it in one of my Christmas candlescapes in the future. So look out for that. And then just one more here. This is another one, flannel. I was on such a flannel kick for a little while. I actually had my first experience with flannel as a vendor wax dupe. So like one of the small wax makers. There's a lot of Bath and Body Works dupes out there. So I think that's another reason I don't buy as many of their candles, because like some of the scents you can get as a wax melt from like small businesses, and you know, most of them perform better for me. So I kind of switched to like buying some of my favorites that way. But that's how I discovered flannel. So I ended up picking it up, you know, in candle form on one candle day. I think this is what, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. But it started out really good. And then something happened midway through this candle where it became like just nauseating. And I don't know what it is. Maybe the mahogany in it. I don't know, but something in here just turned like really super like nauseatingly cologne. You know, not the nice freshness that it had at the start of the candle. This one again burned a little bit dirtier. You can kind of see a little bit of the outline of the wax discoloring. Not terrible, but again, I did put most of this at the end in my crock once it started getting a little funky. And, you know, just not something I would want to repurchase, but yeah, that's it. I probably didn't make any friends right there. Sorry for you Bath and Body Works fans. I really was one of you for a while. You know, I'm just kind of dwindling down my collection, and I really just only buy when they're on sale and something really catches my eye at this point. I've got a good handful left. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I have for today. I hope that wasn't too chaotic. I feel like it was a little chaotic at times, talking about all these different things and trying to remember everything I was going to say about all of it. But that's what I've been burning lately. I'm kind of glad to see these winter ones go. You know, it's been a very long, cold winter here, and I'm ready to get into spring burning. So hopefully the next empties you see from me will have a lot more kind of weather appropriate fragrances. I'm going to try really hard not to let these pile up so much going forward. I just really hate cleaning out these jars, because that's what comes next, is cleaning out these jars and getting them into the recycle bin. So all right, let me know if you have any questions or comments, anything I didn't mention that you're curious about in this video. I felt like I said a lot, but probably left out a lot of things that I had planned to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed my first little round of empties here. I will, I'm not sure what I'm going to record next. I have some Kringle empties that maybe I'll do next. I also have some spring Kringle candles that I ordered from their like spring summer release that I haven't shared here yet. Not too many highlights in that one, just fair warning. But yeah, those are some of the things I'm toying with, depending on how much time I have for what's coming up next. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this video, you want to see what's coming in the future, make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And, you know, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're working on. I hope you had a really good round of empties for your March, whatever you were burning. And, you know, take care of yourselves out there. And I hope you have a great week.